Sleep. We spend about 1/3 of our lives doing it. It plays critical roles that we are still figuring out, and our brain and body demands it every day. A night before your final exams, or a very important interview, or even a night before you express your love to your crush. You toss and turn in your bed, unable to let go of thoughts. You stare at the walls and roofs of your room for hours, unable to fall asleep. If you have experienced this, don't worry. There is nothing wrong with you. It's totally normal. But persistent inability to fall asleep, maintain sleep, or even have a poor quality of sleep is a matter of worry. This is commonly known as insomnia. Hi everyone, welcome to Med Simplified. I'm Dr. Umar Malik, and in this video we'll talk about insomnia. Previously we have talked about snoring and sleep hygiene. If you would like to see those videos, you can click on the banner above or try the link in the description box down below. Coming back to the topic at hand, insomnia. Doctors find it very hard to define insomnia. Some of us struggle to get to sleep no matter how tired we are. Others wake up in the middle of the night and lie awake for hours, anxiously watching the clock. Since different people need different amounts of sleep, insomnia is defined by the quality of your sleep and how you feel after sleeping, not by the numbers of hours you sleep. So even if you are spending 8 hours a night in bed and still feeling drowsy and fatigued during the day, you may be experiencing insomnia. And what's worse is that it's a very common problem that affects more than 2 out of every 5 people. It takes a toll in our energy, mood, and hampers your ability to function during the day. Persistent or chronic insomnia can even contribute to serious health problems. Although insomnia is the most common sleep complaint, it is not a single sleep disorder. It's more accurate to think of it as a symptom of another problem. These problems may range from something as simple as drinking too much caffeine during the day, or something more complex like feeling overloaded with stress and anxiety issues. Keeping that in mind, let's take a look at few of the symptoms of insomnia. These include difficulty falling asleep despite being tired, waking up frequently during the night, trouble getting back to sleep when awakened, unrefreshing sleep despite long hours in bed, unhealthy reliance on sleeping pills or alcohol to fall asleep, waking up too early in the morning, daytime drowsiness, fatigue or irritability, and difficulty concentrating during the day. Now that we know a few symptoms of insomnia, we can go ahead and try to figure out why you can't sleep. In order to properly treat and cure your insomnia, you yourself need to become a sleep detective on your own. Emotional issues such as stress, anxiety, and depression cause more than half of all insomnia cases. But it is also possible that your daytime habits, sleep routine, and physical health may also play a role. So let's look at some of these causes of insomnia. Number 1 are psychological causes. Sometimes insomnia only lasts a few days and goes away on its own, especially when it's tied to an obviously temporary cause, such as stress over an upcoming presentation, a painful breakup, or even jet lag. Other times, insomnia may be stubbornly persistent. Anxiety, stress, and depression are some of the most common causes of chronic insomnia. As a result, having difficulty sleeping can also make anxiety, stress, and depression symptoms worse. Other common emotional and psychological causes include anger, worry, grief, bipolar disorder, and previous trauma. Treating these underlying problems is essential to resolving your insomnia. Number 2 cause of insomnia can include medical problems, illnesses, and some medications. Many medical conditions and diseases can contribute to insomnia, including asthma, allergies, Parkinson's disease, hyperthyroidism, acid reflux, kidney diseases, and cancer. Chronic pain is also a common cause of insomnia. Also, many prescription drugs can interfere with sleep. These include antidepressants, stimulants for ADHD, corticosteroids, thyroid hormones, high blood pressure medications, and some contraceptives. Common over-the-counter culprits include cold and flu medications that contain alcohol, pain relievers that contain caffeine, and drugs like diuretics and slimming pills. Number 3 cause is sleep disorders. Insomnia in itself is a sleep disorder. but it can also be a symptom of other sleep disorders, including sleep apnea, restless leg syndrome, and circadian rhythm disturbances tied to jet lag or late night shift work. Number 4th cause are habits that cause insomnia and disrupt sleep. While treating underlying physical and mental issues is a good first step, it may not be enough to cure your insomnia. You also need to look at your daily habits. Some of the things you are doing to cope with insomnia may actually be making the problem worse. Using sleeping pills or alcohol to fall asleep also disrupts sleep over long term. Other daytime habits that can negatively impact your ability to sleep at night include having an irregular sleep schedule, napping, eating sugary foods or having meals too close to the bedtime, and not getting enough exercise or exercising too late in the day. Not only can poor daytime habits contribute to insomnia, but a poor night's sleep can make these habits harder to correct, creating a vicious cycle of unrefreshing sleep. So, how do we treat insomnia? Well, the answer isn't simple. Oftentimes, changing the habits is enough to overcome the insomnia altogether, but it may take a few days for your body to get used to the change. But once you do, you'll sleep better. So let's start with a few tips. Number 1 is to keep a sleep diary or use a sleep tracking app. This is a helpful way to pinpoint habits and behaviors contributing to your insomnia. Number 2 is to maintain sleep hygiene. We have made a separate video on sleep hygiene. You can click the banner above to watch it, but I will just summarize it here for you. There are 2 powerful weapons in fighting against insomnia. One is a quiet, comfortable bedroom, and the other is a proper bedtime routine. Both can make a big difference in improving the quality of your sleep. Make sure your bedroom is quiet, dark, and cool. Noise, light, and a bedroom that's too hot or cold, or an uncomfortable mattress or pillow can all interfere with sleep. Stick to a regular sleep schedule. Support your biological clock by going to bed and getting up at the same time every day, including weekends. Get up at your usual time in the morning even if you're tired. This will help you get back in a regular sleep rhythm. Turn off all screens at least 1 hour before bed. Electronic screens emit a blue light that disrupts your body's production of melatonin and combats sleepiness. So instead of watching TV or spending time on your phone, tablet or computer, choosing another relaxing activity such as reading a book or listening to soft music is often helpful. Avoid stimulating activity and stressful situations before bedtime. These include checking messages on social media, big discussions or arguments with your spouse or family, or catching up on your work. Postpone these things until the morning. Avoid naps. Napping during the day can make it more difficult to fall asleep at night. If you feel like you have to take a nap, limit it to 30 minutes and before 3 or 4 p.m. Always remember to avoid these things before bed. Number 1. Drinking too many liquids. Waking up at night to go to the bathroom becomes a bigger problem as we age. By not drinking anything an hour before sleep and going to the bathroom several times as you get ready for bed can reduce the frequency you will wake up during the night. Number 2 is using alcohol before sleeping. While a drink may help you to relax and fall asleep, it interferes with your sleep cycle once you're out, causing you to wake up during the night. Number 3 is big evening meals. Try to eat dinner earlier in the evening and avoid heavy, rich foods within 2 hours of going to bed. Spicy or acidic foods can cause stomach trouble and heartburn, which can wake you up during the night. To know more about heartburn or gastritis, click the link in the description box down below. Number 4 is using caffeine before bedtime. The American Academy of Sleep Medicine recommends that you stop drinking caffeinated beverages at least 6 hours before bedtime. People who are sensitive to caffeine may need to stop even earlier. Now let's talk about when do you need to consult a doctor about insomnia. If you have tried a variety of self-help techniques without success, you should get a consultation with a sleep specialist, especially if insomnia is taking a heavy toll on your mood and health. Since many people complain that frustrating negative thoughts and worries prevent them from sleeping at night, cognitive behavioral therapy or CBT is proven to be effective in treating insomnia. CBT is a form of psychotherapy that helps the patient in modifying negative thoughts, controlling distressing emotions, and altering the patterns of behavior. A study at Harvard Medical School has found that CBT is more effective in treating chronic insomnia than prescription medication, and also it is helpful without the risks or side effects of these medication. Well friends, with this we come to the end of this video on insomnia. I hope I have helped in answering your questions and doubts regarding the topic. Don't forget to like, share and subscribe to our channel for such interesting videos. We always appreciate your input and support. Do consider becoming a member of our channel on YouTube or Patreon. Take care and see you in the next video.